All right, so again, my name is James. I am a video production specialist here at Videoguys, and today we're going to be talking about Chat GPT and just AI technology in general and how you can incorporate it into your workflows. So let's get right into it. So what is Chat GPT? And well, this is the answer that ChatGPT gave us when we asked what ChatGPT is. ChatGPT is a large language model trained by OpenAI. It is capable of generating human-like text based on the input it receives. And how do we interpret that? We interpret that as it is a resource that you can use to ask questions, get some insight on things. I'm going to keep saying this throughout the show, but basically it's a jumping off point. It's a good starting point for your productions or anything really. But we primarily work on live streaming setups, so of course we're going to talk about live streaming setups and how it can affect that. So we wanted to put it to the test and see how it could really help out in a presentation like a show like this. So again, before we get into that, how does it work? So we asked ChatGPT, how do I control a PTZ camera? And well, this was the response that it gave us. And as you will see, it's going to respond with a number of different ways that you can control a PTZ camera, whether it's software control, API control, an app, remote control, IR control. It will list off all these different things. And it really is a really good jumping off point to get you started if you don't know anything about PTZ controllers. And so that's what it does really well. What can humans, i.e. video guys, do to help further? Well, it is limited to information before 2021. So it doesn't have any more information that it can extrapolate from after 2021. It may be able to pull up a Google result, but it won't be able to interpret it itself and provide additional information. And in doing so, say for example, you wanted to know what the best controller is to use with the PTC Optics Move 4K. And I'm just saying that because we did a product spotlight on that not too long ago. But ChatGPT is not going to know what is the best controller to use with that camera, but you could call Videoguys and we'll say, oh, it's the SuperJoy, PTC Optics SuperJoy. Not only because it is also made by PTC Optics and they're going to pair very well together, but also because PTC Optics SuperJoy can do presets. It can work with other cameras from other manufacturers like BirdDog and NewTek. So ChatGPT has some limitations, but it's still a very good resource and a very good tool that you should absolutely take advantage of. And so, like I said, we wanted to know, can it really help you produce a video? So we wanted to test three major components. Can it make a PowerPoint outline? Can it make a script based off of that PowerPoint outline? And then what are some other AI tools that you can incorporate into your productions? So, like I said, we asked ChatGPT to make a presentation on what NDI is. And the reason that we did that is because we just did a whole month-long event where we did like 18 webinars in the course of 3.5 weeks on NDI. So we already knew a lot of information on NDI, and we wanted to see what would ChatGPT say when we asked it to make a presentation outline. And I will say that right off the bat, you can see it did a very good job giving us title slides and then bullet points to put on the slides. And one of my favorite things that I was able to do with it, it actually had suggested it. If you want to elaborate on a specific slide, you can ask it to do that. So we did. We asked it to elaborate on, I believe it was slide 3, and it sent out paragraphs of more information on just the topic of that slide, which is really, really handy because you're not going to put all that information on the slide itself, but that is good information for me, the presenter, to know, to be able to say, because you only want to put talking points on the slide. You don't want to put all of your information on the slide. So it was very helpful to have additional information to then use. Um, some of the cons, though, with ChatGPT that we have noticed is it can lack personality. Especially having like a human touch. Um, Usually, when you have a PowerPoint, you may want to throw in a joke here or there, so you can, interact with your audience, et cetera, et cetera. And one thing that I noticed is some information can actually be missing or just not true. And I have to give credit where credit is due. ChatGPT does say at the end of almost every response to make sure that you're double checking your resources and that this information may not be 100% accurate. And a perfect example of that is when we first started playing with ChatGPT, we asked it these same questions before we recorded them because we didn't know what it was going to say. And the very first time that I asked it, how can I control a PTZ camera? It gave me the VSCO over IP, it gave me NDI, it gave me the web GUI, it gave me IR remote, but what it didn't suggest was a PTZ controller. So if you're typing that in for the first time, it may not be giving you every result or every answer to your question. And that can be a pro and a con, because at the same time, we asked it, 3 different times the same question, and it worded it slightly different every time, which is one thing that I have to give it a little bit of credit for as well. Because if you're not understanding the verbiage that ChatGPT is using, it will rephrase its answer. You can have it say, explain it to you as if you don't know what IP is at all, and it will be able to elaborate. And that is a pro, but at the same time, just make sure that you are checking your resources. Don't fully rely on ChatGPT, but use it for a good starting point. The next thing that we wanted ChatGPT to do was to extrapolate that information and use context clues. And we simply asked it, can you make a script on this presentation for one presenter to say? And ChatGPT gave us a several paragraph script that we could use. Now, here at Videoguys, we do not use scripts when we're doing our live shows, but say, for example, we were making another product spotlight and I gave it the bullet points that I wanted to hit, and then said, turn this into a script for a product spotlight, it would be able to do that. And yet again, I want to say, do not be afraid to take that script and change it. You absolutely can do that, and I would highly recommend that you do that. Add a personal touch to the script. Throw in a joke, throw in, a fun fact, a fast fact, whatever you want to do to differentiate yourself from this AI algorithm. Also, we just wanted to throw it in there that to prove another point that people are using this technology. Ryan Reynolds put out a commercial just last week for his company, Mint Mobile, his cell phone company, and the entire script of the video was made by ChatGPT. And he specifically asked it to put a joke in there, and it technically did put a joke in there. It kind of fell flat, but Ryan Reynolds, being Ryan Reynolds, made fun of it falling flat, and it just ended up working. So you can use this as a tool, but do not fully rely on it. So next, what kind of other tools can you use in addition to ChatGPT to help you in your productions? So one thing that we are going to talk more in depth about is a Facebook group that we made just to talk about AI in video production. And for the banner for that, we needed an image. So we actually went to DALL-E 2, which is an image generator, and the banner on that Facebook group was made by DALL-E 2. If you need a background for a green screen, if you need just something to put on the slide so you don't have just text on the slide, you can but you can use DALL-E to to be able to get images for your presentation. And the cool thing about DALL-E 2 specifically is if you have an account for Chat GPT, that same account will work with DALL-E 2 because it's owned by the same people, OpenAI. Another AI tool that we have used is Steve.ai. And Steve.ai is a video generator. So you can take bullet points or a script from ChatGPT, throw it into Steve.ai, and it will make an animated film based on the information that you gave it. And to kind of show that off a little bit, our very own HR department made a video about our 401k plan using ChatGPT and Steve.ai. Now, just because we sell video equipment and we have a marketing team doesn't mean that everybody here at Video Guys knows how to make a video. HR may not know how to do that, but they were able to make a 10-minute video in the matter of a half an hour using these two programs, and it was very informative, yet it retained all of us employees' attention. So we're going to play just a little bit of this, maybe 30 seconds. I want to preface it by saying that Steve.ai does have a voice bot as well. I think it's a little bit rough, but it is still a nice touch to be able to have the voice bot. So let's play that video for 30 seconds. So I know that was a little bit out of context, but you can see that that is a little bit better than just looking at text or reading a pamphlet. So I'm glad that our HR department took advantage of these tools and made it at least a little bit more interesting to talk about a 401k plan. So let's move on. How else can you use ChatGPT to improve your production skills? Well, again, I really wanted to test ChatGPT and see what it can come up with. So I know that we are in a 20 by 30 room and we're using a green screen and we have a bunch of lights, and I wanted to test ChatGPT to see how accurate its information was, because I know that some of it can be missing. But we asked it, I have a 20-foot by 30-foot room. I'd like to put a green screen in there. Where should I put my lights compared to where I put my green screen? And it told us exactly where to put everything. It told us that you're going to want to have your subject 10 feet away from your green screen. You're going to want to have your lights 5 to 10 feet away from your subject. You're going to want to use 3-point lighting. You're going to want to light your green screen at 45-degree angles to make sure that it's flush. I'm speaking very, very quickly here, but it gave us all of that really good information. That is exactly what we're doing in our studio already to get a fairly good green screen usage. One thing that it did say in there when I originally had asked it how to do the 20-foot by 30-foot room is it gave an example of using 3-point lighting. Now, again, I knew what 3-point lighting was, but I wanted ChatGPT to explain it to me and say, hey, what is 3-point lighting? As if I didn't know. And it tells you that you're going to want to use your key, your fill, and your backlight. And that's exactly what we do, again, in our studio. We have our key light, we have our fill light, and we have our backlight. So this is all very useful information and a good jumping point. But again, you're going to want to give somebody like Videoguys a call to say, okay, what kind of light should I use? What kind of stand should I use? What kind of camera should I use? That kind of stuff. ChatGPT, I don't think is quite there yet. You still need to have that human element giving you advice and filling in the gaps where ChatGPT can't fill in. So where do we see the future of AI going? So currently, right now, everything is in, well, let's just say a beta phase or a limited testing phase. Think about it like if you have a video game, for example, we have, Call of Duty or whatever, and Call of Duty, 2 months before the game comes out, they'll do an open beta weekend. Everybody can join, everybody can play, it's free, just give feedback. And they're going to take that feedback and hopefully improve. And then 2 months from now, they're going to release it at full price or whatever the full price is. And that's basically where we see all of this AI technology being. We see it in a beta phase. It is all free for the most part, but expect in the relatively near future to have paid versions of these tools, whether it's a pay-per-use or a subscription model. And actually, some of these already are. I found Midjourney today, actually, as right before we came on the show. And Midjourney, you have to log in, you have to pay, I think it's $5 a month, but then you get unlimited searches for images, for AI generated images. So it is starting to happen, and it will probably happen more and more as we go on, but definitely take advantage of the free ones now while you can. And while you're taking advantage of them, let us know what you're using in your workflows if you're using AI already or if you're going to start using them. We made a Facebook group. We called it AI for Video Production. We're going to try and post in here a couple times a month about how we're using it, presentations, scripts, blog posts, and post-production. So there's definitely tons of ways that we're going to continue to incorporate that into our videos, but we're also curious to see how you're going to incorporate them in your videos. Say you're in a house of worship or an educational department. How are you going to incorporate these? We'd be very interested to see how you do that. And, we're going to also try and think of ways that you could, but this is going to be a place where we can all grow together and learn about this stuff together. We don't want to shy away from it. We want to take it and use it to our advantage. And the last thing that we want to talk about with the future of AI is that a lot of the manufacturers that we work with are working on incorporating AI technology into their products. We don't have anything super specific right now, but these are some manufacturers that we already know are planning on using AI in some form or faction for their products. And we are very excited to, learn what those are going to be, put them into production here at Videoguys, and then also see how they can work in other people's workflows. So like I said, definitely make sure you check out that Facebook group because we are going to post in there as soon as we hear anything, as soon as we're able to do tests. That's where it's going to be. Obviously, if it's really something cool, we're going to do a live show on it or maybe even a product spotlight. But for AI in general, definitely check out that Facebook page. And I had mentioned a little bit earlier, don't be afraid to put a joke in. Don't be afraid to add your own twist into the presentation. So we decided, just for the fun of it, to ask ChatGPT, will AI ever replace humans? And this was its response. I didn't quite feel comfortable recording this response, so I just took a screen capture of it. And basically the answer was maybe. It's unlikely, which isn't no, which isn't yes, so maybe. But in all reality, I don't think that you have anything to worry about. Use it to your advantage. Keep saying that. Use it to your advantage. Don't shy away from it. Use it, explore with it, and see how it can make you better. So anyway, that's all that I have on ChatGPT for now. Definitely check out that Facebook page if you want to see what we're doing with other AI programs in the future. And that's all I have for today's show. So make sure that you are subscribing to us on YouTube and Facebook. Check out our website, videoguys.com. You can give us a call, 800-323-2325. If you want to reach me directly, my extension is 1111. If you have any technical questions about any of the products that we sell, Gary will be back on next week, so we look forward to that. every Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. That's all I got. Peace.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.